This is my Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta Tragic Overground deck. One copy of the leader. Or Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta Frenzy Burst. Or Android 17 Turning the Tide. Or Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta Rise of the Super Warrior. 4 Majin of the Fire West Supreme Kai. 4 Kibito Kai's Attendant. 4 SS3 Goku Overflowing Spirit. 4 Goku Striving to be the Best. 4 Tragic Overground. 4 Chill's Army Reinforcements. 4 Senzu Bean, 3 Res Giant Force, 3 SS Gotenks Absolute Unison, 3 SS4 Goku Protector of the Earth, and 1 Baby Hachi Egg. Ironically, I have everything except for Baby Hachi Egg. So I could substitute it with my Heron's Lineage SCR if I was to put this deck together in real life. So we got leader. Auto once card attacks, draw a card. Auto once per turn when you deal damage to your opponent's attacking by attacking with this card. Look at the top card of your deck. If it's mono blue, put it into your energy area in rest mode. Otherwise, place at the bottom of the deck. So it has the ability to draw one at its swings and potentially ramp. So it's a draw ramp leader. And Awaken, when you have 4 or less life, draw a card, flip over. Some Awaken side, auto once per turn when this card attacks, draw a card. Second auto once per turn when your opponent activates a counter skill switch to the card's active mode. Which is more reason why you swing with this first, right? To get the draw, plus if you attack with something later on and your opponent activates a counter skill, like a counter attack for example, or counter play, you can restand this and attack with it. So that's a basic tip for the leader. And third auto once per turn when you deal damage to your opponent attacking with this card, you can ramp 1 card. Otherwise, place at the bottom of your deck. That's mainly what we're using the leader for, is to draw and ramp. So makes a really good blue utility leader. Plus it's blue, mono blue, it's a Saiyan, all that other good stuff that goes with it. We have Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta Frenzy Burst. Definitely one of my favorite cards because I'm a Gogeta fan. I like the fact that he has mastered blue. Has barrier, which is really nice to have. Definitely rather have barrier than deflect. So it's 35k with barrier. Auto when when a card evolves into the that part doesn't matter because we're not evolving. Let's just go straight to the main. Once per turn, if you have 15 or more energy, choose up to 4 of your opponent's life and place it at the bottom of the deck in any order. So essentially, burn your opponent for 4, which is awesome. Typically, all I really need is like the ability to essentially burn my opponent for 2, just be able to do 2 damage in general. But it's nice to do 4 because you never know. You might be in a situation where it's hard to, especially like let's say you go up against a Bulma deck or something, it might be hard to get your opponent down to 2 life. But maybe you manage to get them down to 4 because they wanted to awaken so they can start drawing 2 cards every turn. So it's like, alright, cool. At least you got down to 4. Well, bang, now I can use this and get rid of the last 4 cards in your life. So this comes in handy if you're ever in that situation. And this is up to 4, so if your opponent just has 2 life, then just get rid of the 2, right? So that's the main thing. And I really love that effect because it's just powerful. So he's essentially a 1-card win con as long as you have 15 or more energy. So obviously we taking advantage of the leader, capable of ramping. We have SS4 Vegeta to help us ramp even more. So we have Android 17 Turning Tide. Obviously, inherently a good card. It's a win con in itself, just like how Gogeta is a win con when you use it at the right time. Has a critical and deflect. It's ironically, this is important for it to have deflect. I prefer it to have deflect than barrier. Ironically, but if it had both, that'd be awesome. But it's good that this has deflect. Because auto, when you play this card, choose all cards in your opponent's hand and your opponent's all cards in your hand and your opponent's hand, and all their battle cards in their drop area, and shuffle them into the owner's deck. So just by playing this, you can make it where you and your opponent don't have cards in their hands. If you play this when your opponent only has 2 life and no blockers, which is very important, swing at their life. Since he has crit, though, they won't add the card to their hand, which means you can swing with your leader to the last life they have and win right there and then, right? So if you get your opponent down to 2, play it, enjoy 17 turn tide, you could literally just go for game. Swing with him first, then the leader, game. So that's a secondary win con in the deck, right? Then we got the SS4 Vegeta Rise of the Super Warrior, 30k blocker. Auto, if your leader card is mono blue, which it is when this card is placed. When this card is played, look at up to 4 cards on the top of your deck. Add up to 4 mono blue cards among them to your hand, or place any number of them into your energy area, or place any other remaining cards at the bottom of your deck in any order. So pretty much you're going to play this and you're going to ramp 4 energy. Grab the top 4, ramp up since the whole deck is mono blue. And those 4 extra energy will allow you to play stuff like Senzubin and overflowing spirit Goku. You could also do a thing where you play this, right, ramp 4, swing with this, because why not, right? Swing with this, Senzubin, so that we can get back up to 5 energy. So you have 5 energy untapped. Then play Goku, the Protective Earth, to trigger his auto. Then do his -2 to clear your opponent's board in case they have battle cards, bounce it back to their hand, ignoring Bear, right? And then at the end of the turn, you'll be able to switch this Vegeta back into active mode, because it has an second auto lets it switch back to active mode at the end of your turn, and is a 30k blocker. So you can obviously use it to defend, on top of the fact that you have Protector of Earth effect in effect. So if you have these 3 cards, you could play all 3 of them in the same turn and get that ability to floodgate your opponent for their turn. So you pretty much could get an extra turn and be able to ramp beyond 6, so you would definitely be at 10. And the following turn, obviously you can play another energy, get yourself up to 11. And with 10 energy, you can obviously play Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta and have a 35k battle card with barrier that you can swing with, so you can have a sword and he'll be a shield, so you can swing with both of them and then he'll restand, that kind of stuff. And then anytime you play another Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, you can ramp 4 more energy, which of course will help you get to 15 plus energy, which allows you to use Gogeta's active main ability of making, taking up to 4 cards from your opponent's life and send it to the bottom of the deck, which should win you the game right then and then, right? Another thing you can do with SS4 Vegeta, especially if you want to ramp up into the Gogeta play, is play the Vegeta, ramp the 4 energy, swing with Vegeta, play 2 Senzubin, so that we can untap until you have 6 energy again. Until you have 6 energy, right? And then play a second copy of SS4 Vegeta and ramp 4 more energy. So right there, you should have 14 energy at that point, and you use the 4 energy to play stuff like you can play Gotenks, or you can play Raditz, which is good because Raditz can block 2 attacks. There's a lot you can obviously do. Just extra energy means extra plays, right? You can obviously use the energy to play Overflowing Goku to negate an attack. You could drop a Goku trying to be the best. You can save it for Chill's Army reinforcement. Play that. All types of good stuff. Another thing you can do, right, is the humor, right? Is play this, get the ramp, and then drop this. and then of course, save the last 2 energy, obviously, for your negates and your sense beams and stuff like that, if you want. And then the following turn, use his computer Kai's ability, rest them, bounce the Vegeta back to hand, play the Vegeta for 6, ramp 4, for energy, and you'll have a lot of energy and do a lot of other stuff. And if you still want to do the Goku Protector play, then do that, and set it up where the following turn after that, if you have the Gogeta, drop the Gogeta, and by then, you should have about 15 plus energy. Especially if you're ramping with the leader's ability, if you're playing energy. So there's a lot of ramping. There's going to be a lot of energy in this deck, obviously, right? It wouldn't be that hard to play this card and get its effect. So lots of good stuff here. You got Pageman the Fire Whispering Kai. This definitely will help you ramp up sooner than later, especially for your Gogeta play. Because I'll play her on turn 2, and then try to ramp one more time at least with the leader. So if I ramp once with the leader and I get her out, then that will put me essentially 2 energy ahead, which means by turn 4 I can do a Vegeta play without the leader ramping at least once. I can play Vegeta on turn 5. Because 5 energy plus her, that's 6. But if I do ramp with the leader, then I can on turn 4 play Vegeta. So turn 4 I can get 4 more energy, which would be a total of 8. But if I send the beam right until I get back to 6 energy, and then play another Vegeta on that turn, ramp up even 4 more, so I get 12 energy right there. And then on turn 5, 10 energy, so I'll be at 13 energy plus her. Well, she won't count towards energy, but I can use her to play stuff, obviously. But I'm just saying I have 13 energy plus her, 13 energy plus her. So I definitely could use 10 energy to obviously play the Gogeta. So not that hard to get him out there. As soon as once you start getting Vegeta out there, Gogeta is only 1 turn away. So there's that kind of stuff. She has barrier, so that's important. You can use her to pay for the energy cost of cards from your battle area. Kibito Kai's active main switch this card to res mode. Choose one of your battle cards, return to your hand, then choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards to trade cost, so less, and return to the owner's hand. So this, is useful to allow you to reuse your Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, because you're trying to ramp up into your Gogeta play, right? It could also help you reuse your Goku Overflowing Spirit, so you can use its ability to 1, negate an attack, and 2, use it to bounce back your unisons, so you can reuse them. Especially if you already used up most of their markers, you might want to bounce them back to hand and reuse them to, use their effects again, by removing markers. Main target for Overflowing Goku Spirit is Goku Protector of Earth, because he has the auto plus the -2 ability. So being able to floodgate your opponent on their turn with the auto and then bounce all their stuff ignoring barrier, and being able to do that every turn, or at least every other turn, is really good. You can definitely stall out with that strategy, which definitely can help you go into your Gogeta play. Then I already mentioned what we could do with him. Obviously, negate an attack, play him, and bounce a unison from our battle unison area, or drop it back to hand. So that's really good. Goku's regular vast barrier permanent. Your opponent's battle card with 2 costs or less can't attack. This helps us, against any deck that uses 2 costs or less battle cards to go aggro. And then we have Tragedy Overground, which obviously it won't be that hard to hardcast this because we ramp a lot in this deck. So it's a field card permanent. This card can't be removed from the battle area by the skills of your opponent's battle cards. Second permanent, when your opponent plays a battle card with an energy cost of 4 or more, it is placed into their energy area in rest mode instead of being played. And auto, when this card is activated, choose all of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, and place them into the owner's energy area in rest mode. So it's board wipe. It ignores barrier, which is always great to have and powerful. And then of course this, along with Goku trying to be the best, will lock your opponent into 3 drops. Trying to use 3 drop battle cards to try to fight you with it. Chills army reinforcements. Counter attack if your leader card's mono blue, which is negate the attack, and then play 1 chilled army's token with 10k power, and it gains blocker for the turn. Permanent, if you have 5 or less life, you can activate this card's counter skill from your hand by adding 1 card from your life to your hand. Instead of paying this card, so you can play it for free by taking a life. And it makes a blocker, so you could potentially stop 2 attacks, for 2 energy, or 2 attacks for free, whichever way you want to look at it. And of course, this is not once per turn, so you could play multiple copies of this in a turn. So you could stop multiple attacks in a turn, pretty much giving you another turn, which we all know how powerful that is, especially if you go into a Vegeta play and then, use 2 copies of these to, block 4 attacks and get you an extra turn, so that we can, drop down to Gogeta and do what Gogeta does best: win. Sentence of Beaten, active battle. Choose up to 1 of your cards. It gains 5k power for the duration of the turn. Then choose up to 2 of your energy and switch into active mode. Obviously, this helps you ramp up your energy so you can combo with Vegeta, Rise of the Super Warrior. So 2 Sons of Being, 2 Vegeta, SS4 will ramp you up to 12 energies pretty easily. Well, you obviously ramp 8 energy in 1 turn, but you get the idea. You'll have more than 8 after that. Sons of Being, of course, can be used defensively, but I like the idea of using it with Vegeta to, extend my plays. But it has defensive capabilities, obviously. And Reddit's Giant Force. Blocker, auto, once per turn when this card activates, this blocker skill switch attack them off. That way it can block twice. Plus 0 activating ability, draw a card and switch this card. At the end of your turn, switch this card to active mode. So that way you can attack with it and restand it and draw a card and be able to use it to block 2 of your opponent's attacks. Has the -2 ability. Choose 1 of your opponent's battle cards, return it to their hand. Then at the end of your turn, switch 1 of your blue energy to active mode. That way you can have a blue energy for your Sons of Being play, right? SS Go 10 steps sleep units and dual attack, blocker 20k. Obviously you can attack with it twice or attack with it once and then restand it and use it to block, so you can attack and block, sword and shield strategy. And then -2, so you can draw 2 cards, so you can keep your hands nice and filled. Just like if you use this to draw 2 cards, then use this to negate an attack and bounce this back. Play it again next turn, -2, draw 2 cards. You keep doing that every turn. You got a nice little, reusable draw engine. If you use Kabito Kai to bounce this back to hand, use this to bounce this back to hand. Use this to -2 to draw 2 cards. And then, of course, swing with it, do what it does. Then use this to negate an attack, bounce this back to hand. Next turn, play this, -2, draw 2, attack. Use Kabito to bounce it back to hand, so I can use this to negate an attack. You get the idea. Lots of annoying shit you can do, especially if you have the Goku striving to be the best and Treasure Overground in play. You have that lock. You pretty much locking your opponent down to leader swing, unison swing, and a 3-drop, or 3 drops, I should say. So reducing how many attackers they can use is always good. So that way it reduces how many times you have to stop them. And of course, giant Raz Giant Force, synergizes very well with Tragic Overground. So does absolute Gold Tank support. Then he has the -3 ability that you can definitely abuse. Choose up to 2 of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, and place them at the bottom of the opponent's deck in any order, which is really nice. So of course you can bring him, play him, right, for 4, -3, get rid of up to two battle cards. Swing with him twice, use overflowing to negain attack, bounce back to the hand, so with the next turn you can play it again and do the -3 if you need to. That way you can just be able to control your opponent's boards. It just, it's up to you how you want to use it. There's a lot of, synergy with these cards. Mentioned already the Floodgate ability of this card, and its -2 ability. It does have a -1 ability, which lets you draw 2 cards and then choose 1 card from your hand and place it at the bottom of your deck. So another card that can help you draw. But we're mainly going to be using this for our Floodgate auto ability and our -2 board wipe ability to bounce our opponent's battle card back to their hand. The auto, when this card is played during your opponent's next turn, they can't attack with battle cards unless they choose 1 of their battle cards with energy cost of 2 or more and place it into the bottom of their owner's deck. This only affects battle cards, of course, so leaders and unisons are unaffected by this, so keep that in mind. You're going to have to stop those attacks with your negates and stuff, but at least this auto will slow down your opponent's battle card swings. And Baby Hachiyak. Counter attack: if you have 3 or more energy, negate the attack, play this card. Your opponent can't attack for the turn. Second permanent: if your leader card is mono blue, which it is, you can choose 1 other card from your hand, discard it, instead of paying the cost of this card to play it. So you can negate for free and get an extra turn for free, which is obviously really busted once you start doing your little Vegeta plays and stuff, ramping up, and then you can just try to get an extra turn with this type of card, and then do your Gogeta play. And that's the end of the video.